Good morning. It is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot, and we are here to look at the Divine Masculine this morning. We did an obstacles removed spread for Divine Masculine on Wednesday, where we discovered that, good morning, the masculine needs to release third-party energy. And if that energy did its assignment and actually did release that old energy that was blocking them, then we are at a stage now, good morning, Chantal, where we need to start to rebuild. So we're going to do what I am calling the Emperor spread, which is how do I rebuild after a tower moment or after I've removed an obstacle. We're going to take a look only at masculine energy, of course, because we're focused on the Emperor this week. And this final reading should bring Divine Masculine energy into his full worthiness. And then when we check in on Sunday with Grace Strega, we should see a masculine feminine energy that is more in balance than it has been. Hopefully Divine Feminine's been able to keep up her Empress energy, even though she's been paying a lot of attention to the Emperor this week. She should probably think about that this weekend. And come back to center. Make sure that the Empress energy is about that journey into the self. All right, so the top of the deck, overall general energy for Divine Masculine is interesting. It's the Page of Swords energy from the lovely Cosmic Tarot, which has this fantastic 80s hairstyle that I will have one day. Just even for a minute, just even if it's a wig, like maybe a wig. I don't think I could do these bangs long term, but I'm getting this. Anyway, so we've got this Page of Swords energy, and this is a card about, the Ace of Swords comes in, and it's this honesty, this truth, this willingness to say something, look at something, think about something in a new way. And the Page energy picks up that truth and then starts to wield it. Even though they're pretty uncertain because they don't really have training, this is brand new for them. And they're not in the Knight of Swords energy yet. So Divine Masculine is working up courage. He has faced a new idea, which may have been, okay, this obstacle is that I need to release this. If the releasing has been done, then now it's this new beginning. It's like working up the courage to, now that this thing has been released, actually come forward. And we're looking at the heart space here. This was head space. Now we've got the King of Cups in reverse, which is his desire. He has been in this King of Cups energy, which is a wonderful energy, except that it's a completely silent and withholding of emotion. He has command of emotion in this energy. He's sensitive, he's psychic, he's intuitive, kind, caring, compassionate, loving, loyal, all of those things, just. But in order to maintain this sense of safety, he is constantly needing to keep his own feelings in check or hidden, so he doesn't worry anybody. This has become his MO. And he's been very much in this shadow energy of this King of Cups. So he's working up the bravery now to release this shadow energy so that he can speak to what is actually in these cups. And this is very interesting because in this image, there are two cups. And the King of Cups doesn't usually have two cups. He usually has the Ace of Cups in his hand. But this king wants to express about the two aspects of self. Wants to have fully integrated Divine Feminine and speak to that experience. All right. So the bottom of the deck for head and heart is going to represent something hidden that will assist you in realizing your worthiness. So there's something you don't know that will help you in realizing how truly worthy you are. This first card from the headspace, this is the Seven of Cups. And it's in reverse. It's so interesting because whenever I see this image, all I can think of is this Divine Masculine energy that doesn't feel worthy. Like, I'm not worthy, like bending over and prostrating himself in front of all these opportunities that he has. and feeling unworthiness, not knowing what to choose because he doesn't really have a sense of worthiness. But this is in reverse. So the hidden thing that will really assist you in realizing your own worthiness is realizing your own worthiness, I guess, is understanding that you have all these options and all these decisions, and the choices that you make, that is what really makes you worthy. It's like from Harry Potter, when Harry is chosen for his house by the sorting hat, the sorting hat has a discussion with him and is like, I mean, bitch, you could do pretty good in Slytherin though, you know what I'm saying? And Harry's like, fuck no, I don't want to go to Slytherin, and no. And so the hat's like, okay, I was just saying. Puts him in Gryffindor. And Harry's like, oh great, I'm a Gryffindor. And then he has this niggling feeling throughout throughout the first 2 books that like he was really supposed to go to Slytherin, but he didn't. And so he has a transformative experience when Dumbledore reveals to him that the true Gryffindor is a Gryffindor by his choices, by the choices he makes. And that is what makes somebody worthy, not, where you were sorted or where you were placed, but the decisions you make while you're wherever you are or about where you're going. So realizing this, that the choices you make is what determines your worthiness, will be like a hidden weapon for you. And then you're going to hate the secret. I hate the secret weapon. I hate it. What's something hidden that will assist you in realizing your worthiness? Well, this is 2 of Wands card. It's just the freaking twin flame card, which we've been trying to like beat to death for the last 2 weeks. We can't freaking do it. There must be a reason for that. It's because the twin flame journey represents the journey to the center of self, which is where you meet the source, whatever you want to call that energy. And you can't get rid of it. And that's why you have experience of certain types of people where you feel like you can't get rid of them. Why is that? It's because you can't. You're on a journey that's needing you to interact with certain individuals along the way. Did you hear how that was a plural term though? That wasn't just individual. It wasn't. The twin flame journey is about one person, but the journey is not about the one person. It's about becoming whole and understanding that you are whole. And there is one person who triggers you in that experience, but that does not mean that one person is the only person you're supposed to journey with along the way. They are not. That's not the intention of the journey. So that's the thing that we've had to beat to death. But if you are here, you are most likely a light worker or a healer of some kind. Not everybody's here. I mean, as my record comes out, there's going to be a lot more people here, I'm sure. But if you're here, if you were called here, if you are part of my collective, there's a chance that this journey is one that we share, that you are actually a powerful light worker or healer, and that your worthiness comes simply from having asked for something and believing that it is going to be given. And that everyone honestly has this worthiness. You're just meant to understand this journey, whereas others are not. But every single human on the planet, every single entity on the planet, when they ask for something, it is given. That is where their worthiness lies. So the decisions and choices you make about this energy, this is the secret thing that will help you to feel more worthiness. Okay, what past experience challenges me in my rebuilding process? So what past experience is giving me some challenges as I try to rebuild? All right, divine masculine energy. You're getting the 6 of Swords. So actually moving on. And this, from the Cosmic Tarot, we see this individual who is balancing. This takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of training, which is what we get from all of the swords energy that we've experienced. Because the 6 of Swords is about how we build a bridge from where we were to where we want to go through the trials and tribulations that we've been through, and how we have this awareness in the swords energy, which is energy of the mind, that we have learned the lessons from what it is that we've been experiencing. So what challenges divine masculine is moving on and not knowing his destiny. This is the Wheel of Fortune coming out in reverse, which is a sense that you're kind of resisting change. Like you've moved on, but you're really afraid to truly change. You're learning your lessons, but you're afraid of where it's going to take you, because this is a card that's like, okay, I learned what I should do, what I shouldn't do, but now that I know that, what's going to happen? And that's why that secret weapon of having that belief that you have asked for something and it is coming, that's why you can keep coming back to that, because this is really challenging you. The desire to have control of this wheel, to be the one that turns the wheel in the direction that you want it to go, because you don't know where you're going. So this is something you really want to start thinking about. This is really challenging you. Not surrendering to change and moving on is really, really challenging you. What can you do right now to build your confidence? Queen of Wands. You must hold your vision. You must see yourself in this fiery energy. You must channel and tap into your passions and have this awareness that this card wouldn't show up if you didn't have this energy within you. Divine masculine may feel that he's consistently looking outwards for this energy, obviously, because this is not a really comfortable society we live in to be able to express our divine feminine in any way we want. So divine masculine in the past has tended to seek out this confidence in other individuals. But finding this power within himself is going to be really helpful to him in building his own confidence. So for instance, if he is obsessed with a Queen of Wands that he wants to be with, like we know this divine masculine is, he has to have a sense that the confidence and, you know, the magnetism, the charisma, the attractiveness, like everything that he admires in this is a reflection for his own energy. So he can build up this confidence. He can start to channel his passions and hold his vision. And then the heart space is giving him this Page of Cups energy in reverse. So releasing this feeling that he's too immature in love. Like he's feeling like he's incapable of approaching this feminine energy, like he's going to be rejected by her. So maybe releasing rejection wounds, like if that's something that you've been working on subconsciously, like maybe doing a little bit more work there. Because you have to kind of keep, if you have an old limiting belief, you have to kind of keep hitting it and until it's ridiculous, until it's like funny, until you think about it, you're like, oh my God, like I used to think that I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, what? You could do that, right? Until it becomes just sort of comical. You have to keep going back in and working it out. So there's still issues with rejection and fears about approaching this feminine energy. So finding that feminine energy inside of yourself and releasing the fear of being rejected by someone who is you. That's going to really help build this confidence. What future challenges could come up for me as I begin to rebuild? Interesting. The headspace is giving us the Six of Pentacles. And then we're getting the Seven of Swords in the heart space. So here's what I'm seeing. There might be some future challenges that could come up with feelings about reciprocity and strategy and keeping things hidden. So the first thing I'm thinking is that this card, which is a card about benevolence and generosity, it's also, if we look at the shadow in it, it's also a little bit about being kind of controlling, because there's one depiction of this card that I really love from the Vice Versa Tarot, which I haven't used in a while and I should pull that out soon. Maybe I'll pull it out tomorrow. But those cards are great. They have the front side, which looks like this gorgeous paintings of traditional Smith Waite imagery. But then when you flip it to the back, you actually see the back of whatever action is going on the front side. So it just looks like you've stepped behind, you know, the throne or whatever it is. In that deck, there's a depiction of this Six of Pentacles where the benevolent masculine is actually looking down over this whole little village, this little world that he's created. And when you flip the card, you're now looking from behind him and you can't see that world anymore. And it's about how you have to get control of the ego that tends to think that your benevolence and generosity is like from you, when really it's coming from the divine, and you're a vessel through which that love is flowing. There's also, it could be issues with fearing that you're not going to receive exactly what you're putting in, the return on your investments, right? Being a little bit afraid of this rejection or whatever. So that if you have difficulty working on those rejection wounds, it could be that in the future you might face issues with feeling like when you do something, you don't get it back because there's still a quid pro quo energy. The Seven of Swords energy for me being a future obstacle, first of all, there's two foxes here. So for some, this is third party energy stuff again, like having like a hidden life or masking. For others, it's just strategizing. And for me, the reciprocity and the strategizing together, it's like having this agenda for what it is that you desire, which is again doing this, resisting your fate, feeling like you know what should happen, and so you slip into this controlling energy of needing to, you know, manipulate how the reciprocity occurs. So those are some future challenges that you need to keep in mind as you're going forward and rebuilding. What past behaviors have destabilized me? What? Okay. You know what? I read this as the Page of Cups, but it's the Nine of Cups. But it's still the same thing because it's approaching with the cup and rejection. But we're also getting now the Page of Cups in reverse. I was like, what? That's like our future. But the Page of Cups in reverse is a behavior that has destabilized me. So this is being very immature, being very dreamy, and again, being very worried about the divine feminine, like cutting you off. This is an image here where she's looking so coy. And all she has to do is like move her hands over this cup and be like, nope. You know, or like, okay, no, just kidding. So there's this feeling that divine masculine has often had about her ability to just reject him. That's coming up again. Because of this, he has been in this sort of immature place where he felt like he couldn't really express to her. He also has been unwilling to apologize. Being unwilling to apologize has been extremely problematic for him because he knows he needs to. I'm sorry, you don't engage in this type of behavior and not have an awareness that you need to make an apology. But he has felt resistant to this process. And it's more just because when he says it, he has to forgive himself. He has to acknowledge it. So that's the reluctance there. And you know, can you blame that energy? This is your energy, so I wouldn't blame yourself. But I would look at what you think will happen if you give these heartfelt apologies for your because this is you, right? Like, oh, I love you. You can have my cup. Nope, just kidding. Oh, yes, you can. No, just kidding. Right? This is the masculine energy. This is how the feminine energy is acting within the masculine. So, I'm sorry, is due. This behavior needs to go. And this is also being in player energy, being really immature, not really wanting to commit, not wanting, just is carving your names in a tree and calling that like, your undying love for that person. You're like, okay, but like, what about showing up? What about communication? What about healthy boundaries? What about like everything that we're not doing instead of just staying here in this fantasy land? Okay. And then the heart space past behavior that's destabilized has been clinging to a Queen of Pentacles. So clinging to a past, a specific iteration of the divine feminine. And then if we just look at this as the own Queen of Pentacles energy within masculine, it's been a feeling of a lack of creativity in how to approach this love and apology, a lack of creativity in how he's viewing and looking at love in general. It's just been this kind of immature thing. Like, you love somebody and you like do these things for them that you think they like, and you never check in and find out what they want or like or need or anything, because you are afraid that if you find out what they really need, that you can't provide it because you don't feel like you have enough. So you just kind of keep cycling through this place where it's just fantasy, because the second that you're like, hey, I want to do everything you want me to do, and I want to be for you, and I want to be here for you, and I want to just give you the world. And then the feminine energy is like, okay, that's all so great, but I just want to have like a conversation about what happened and talk about our emotions. And masculine energy is like, I was thinking more like a car. Like, is there a car you want? Like, or we could go on a vacation. I could make you something else cool. How about that? And feminine energy is like, no, I really don't. I mean, okay, let's go on a vacation. That sounds good. But can we talk, though, when we get there about what happened and about our feelings and emotions, and like be on the same page with our hearts and our minds? And divine masculine is like, totally. But I bought you these earrings. Let me show you. They're so beautiful, right? And then the desire to be able to give those things and to have that abundance is actually very destabilizing, because in order for him to prevent this moment of rejection that he's afraid of, he's got to make this obstacle really big, so that he has to do all these things before he can get to this moment where he has to face the like, I did all this for you. And she's like, cool. I love you. Can we talk about that? He's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. Like, I haven't fully integrated my feminine energy and I'm not comfortable doing that yet. It's really scary for me. What if I break into 1,000,000 pieces and never recover? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to explode. Like, I don't know. So this has definitely been very difficult for him in moving forward. This clinging to that past energy, which if he's released, then that's not the problem anymore. Then the problem is that he's clinging to his own feelings of lack of creativity and not being able to really provide for a queen that doesn't really want him to provide. Like, she'd be down for it. It's not like she'd be like, no, don't buy me that. But it's also like, I mean, you don't have to. Like, just be with me by my side and support me and, like, be my companion and have fun with me while I get this shit done, and, like, we'll both have a lot of stuff, This is a different kind of feminine energy than the one that is typically portrayed in our society, I think. This is an energy that wants to be an equal, intellectually, emotionally, materially, spiritually, physically. Okay, what can I do now to avoid these behaviors in the past? Well, you gotta be kidding me. Walk away from them. This is the 8 of Cups. He's just sitting there looking. This is the weirdest 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is normally somebody who has already gotten up and walked away. But in this situation, he's sitting here. He looks pretty distressed. He looks pretty worried, pretty anxious. There's all these cups here that have fallen over. There's these right here. They're looking pretty good. This one's about to teeter. And he's like focused on all the spilled cups, just like we are in the 5 of Cups energy. Really not paying attention to these other options over here. Just kind of like looking like he's in complete despair. And while he's doing this, here's the Tower. We just saw this card the other day, and it's so freaking great. This is this image with these hands trying to hold these pieces together. But he's given up doing that. But now we have to do exactly what this reading is talking about. Now we have to rebuild. We've walked away from what didn't serve us. We stopped sitting there staring. But now we actually have to initiate the rebuilding of this tower. So you have to shift into the energy of willingness to rebuild, to follow the instructions here, to take note, to understand that resisting your destiny, trying to control it, worrying about rejection, needing to hide your feelings and emotions and strategize, having to get something, having a quid pro quo, thinking that love is about that. Love isn't about that. Love isn't about, I love this person, and then that person says, I love you exactly the same. And then you're like, yay, that's love. No. Love is, I love this person. I love myself, and I love others as I love myself. And it's every person, not just one person. And it's the people that even do nasty things to you. And you still like, you know what? I love you. You can't be at my table because I don't have nastiness at my table. But I have a deep love for you. I understand that your actions come from wounds. Mine do too. I understand that you're a reflection of my wounds. I understand that you were put in front of me for me to understand myself. Thank you. I love you for that. Get the fuck away from my table, though, if we're going to be abusive or cross any of my boundaries that I am entitled to, as you are entitled to yours, right? But that's not quid pro quo. That isn't, oh, I made her this, and she made me that, and I stood on my head, and she stood on her head, and then what the fuck? No, that's not it. So as you rebuild, as you start to take this knowledge and use this to rebuild, what future prospects do I have to look forward to once I rebuild and stabilize my foundation? There are some times as a tarot reader when you ask for an outcome, a future outcome, and the universe is like, did I stutter? And you were like, no. And they're like, okay, there are some things that you can know, and I showed you that already. And then there are some things you can't. And that is what this is. So, what future prospects do I have to look forward to once I rebuild and stabilize my foundation? Well, here's the King of Cups in reverse, which we already saw today. What future things do I have to look forward to? Exactly what it is that I'm looking for the courage to build up to do, right? My head was like, I want to be brave enough to express everything that's in my heart and to stop being so overprotective of what's in my heart so that I can finally have what I want, right? And then the universe was like, yes, that is what will happen, exactly what you want, but you cannot know how it will happen because here is the moon. And this is the card that says there are some secrets and there are some mysteries. And knowing exactly what will happen when you initiate the rebuilding of the tower is not possible right now. The only thing that's possible is that you asked for something and it's given and you don't know how. And the other thing that is here too is that it might be something that is happening at night or in the moonlight or having something to do with the cosmic energy. It's the coming together and the balancing of the two aspects of self. It's two towers. Look at two towers standing stable. They are not grotesque. They are not falling down. They are not struck by lightning. They are stable. But they are two individual towers. And there is this one path to that sacred union through these two individual towers realizing their path. That's the future outcome if you rebuild your tower. Okay. Let's get some oracle assistance for you to see how we can help you to achieve this goal. You are in the shadow attributes right now of angel energy, which is acting innocent or angelic to mislead others and falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. I feel like the acting innocent thing is really relevant. You're acting like, oh, it's not my fault. Like, it is your fault. Remember what Dumbledore said about your choices? But the thing is, it's okay that it's your fault. It's not like it's your fault and now you have to go bury yourself under a heaping mound of guilt and never do anything again. It's okay. I did this. I chose these things. I chose this outcome. I chose these actions and now I need to choose differently and it's okay. I don't need to blame myself. I don't need to blame and shame myself. I do need to take accountability and I do need to know that the shame I feel is it's just meant for me to shine a light on a wound that I am engaging in or actively reopening. But you're not innocent. You have made decisions and choices about how you behaved. You put yourself in positions that made this scenario unfold like this. And it's from your own hidden feelings. It's from your own cleverness. It was from you thinking like, oh, I know this person said this, but I'll do this anyway because I'm tricky and I know that I'm going to get what I want if I just can manipulate it into this way. Like, this is something you're programmed to do too. So the light attribute is helping those in need with no expectation of return, right? This quid pro quo thing, you gotta lose that. That is in the position of what future challenges could come up as you're rebuilding. This tendency towards that quid pro quo. If I do this, he should do that. If she does that, I should do this. St. Christopher is here with an emphasis on safe travel. And this is something that's taking place, right? Because the Six of Swords is traditionally a card with a boat on it. And it's about traveling, transitioning, moving. So you have this St. Christopher energy that is here protecting you as you move on and encouraging you and kind of pushing you to move on. Your guardian angel is here to support you in this moment of reflection and appreciation, that while you're experiencing this pause as you're rebuilding the connection, you are reflecting and appreciating yourself. You're appreciating your environment, all the things around you that have come together to allow you to be exactly who you are and where you are and what you're doing. Really relishing in all of the comfort you have around you. When I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. And this was emphasized. And that, when I pulled out those cards about the rejection wounds and had a feeling that it's something that you have worked on, but something that still needs to be worked out, I still feel that. When you surrender even more. Strength. This is a big one for you. It was in reverse because there is a tendency here towards ego and trying to be controlling and pride. There's a lot of issues here with pride. Rejection and pride are linked together. So I would look at those issues in any of the subconscious work that you're doing. And feel confident that you do have strength, that you are not weak. And it's really important that you build up that confidence. And when we asked, how can I build my confidence right now? It was to work on your rejection issues and to be fully in this Queen of Wands energy, to be consumed by your passions and holding a vision of your passion and allowing yourself to feel very confident about it. Confidence is key to success here. So this is really, really important I keep getting this divine masculine. The initiation, rite of passage, and crossing the threshold. That is what you're doing, right? This is the past experience that's challenging you, is that you are moving on, that you are, you know, while resisting your fate a little bit, because your fate is to move on and to come into union with divine feminine, but you're moving on and you're still trying to control how that happens, how that occurs. You're still strategizing the reciprocation. You're still withholding apologies. You are still resisting initiating the rebuilding of the tower and completely walking away. And it's because of this final placement. You are still afraid. You still have anxiety over what will happen once you finally express the love that you feel and the desire to be committed to someone or to something. And then we're getting Dove Spirit's protection message. Be peaceful. And let's see. This is 21 days in a blue moon. All right, let's see. Protection message. However disturbed the waters around you, however troubled your heart, Dove Spirit is there to remind you that peace without begins within, as you reconnect with Spirit through practices that awaken you from spiritual amnesia. Your true nature is as a peaceful child of Spirit, but how easily you forget. You're being invited to sit in the cozy, safe nest of Spirit. Soon the waters will become still and you will feel peace again. Be compassionate with yourself at this time, for all of us can forget that peace is always at hand, always there, gifted to us by Spirit. Become the peace you wish to see in the world so you can reduce any suffering, performing acts of kindness and radiating love, which was your call there from the angel light attribute, which is helping those in need with no expectation of return. Dove Spirit also reminds you that when you see inequity or someone harmed or in need, trust that you have the capacity to bring peace through smiling, sending love, speaking a kind word, and listening with a compassionate heart. Do your part to be a peacemaker, nourishing compassion, reminding others of the joy of harmonious coexistence so that they may embrace the Dove Spirit within themselves too. And I also think this is just here because this whole spread is about rebuilding after a tower, right? And we're assuming that if Divine Masculine did his work on Wednesday, he released this third-party energy. In the releasing of the third-party energy, there is an upheaval, like chaos ensues, which is why the shadow traits of the King of Shadows, I mean, the King of Cups is the King of Shadows for me at this point. Secret keeping, right? That tendency to keep secrets, to hide because of fears about what's going to happen. Once Divine Masculine reveals who his Divine Feminine is, the chaos ensues. And there is a chance that if the masculine energy did do the work, because the work on Wednesday was literally like, you gotta tell the third party energy that there is not any more chance of working things out. If that is exactly what ensued, then we do have chaos now. And there is this fear, that anxiety that pushes Divine Masculine into this overprotective energy. And the unknown element about what's going to happen, what kind of chaos is going to ensue, that is what pushes him into this shadow. And he's unwilling to speak or come forward or communicate what is in these two cups. So this piece is integral right now in rebuilding. If Divine Masculine is afraid of chaos, he's going to continue to engage in this fear, in this stuck energy where he's just paused there. This is not an Eight of Cups where we see motion. This is an Eight of Cups where we see him contemplating this moment, right? Okay, I gotta walk away. But I'm like afraid to rebuild the tower because I don't know. I don't know what is there now. I don't know, right? And he's got to be comfortable with that. So he needs to embrace this peace, that amidst the chaos, there is peace. All right, let's take these two last decks and pull for like, what can we do today? Like actually practically do today that will help us rebuild this tower. All right. I cannot believe how exhausted I am from yesterday. Like I thought I was getting off scot-free. I didn't have to record vocals or any instruments. It was all like other people that were recording. And so I was like, oh, tomorrow's going to be an easy day. And not realizing that you're sitting there the whole time, like listening to every single like pitch that's not right, and like every like and anticipating and being like, oh wait, now maybe we can do this. I got home and then was like, oh man, I'm gonna go to bed early, and then realized I had another session with an artist from like 7:30 to around like 9:30, and ended up being so I like went to bed. I was just dead. I'm like, I can't think about music anymore. All right, one more deck and we'll all be ready here to look at this practical advice. Please like, subscribe, share, do the things, click the links, go to the Patreon, support, help me out. It's so amazing of me to be here every day for you and do these readings. I have fun, I enjoy it, but in order to do that, I do need abundance. Let's see what fell on the floor. Oh, why am I not surprised, Divine Masculine? Okay, need one more. I think you threw that on the floor because you didn't want me to see that. Hello. All right. Here is what the masculine energy must work on today. I like it. Girl talk, bitch. Time with friends. Moving on. Happily single. Living in the moment. Having fun. Okay. Ascending. Transcending obstacles. Learning, expansion, new phase. Preparing for union. Okay. So, I see here, first of all, this moving on thing. I do feel Divine Masculine is doing it. The cards look good. The cards did not come out today showing me that he didn't move on. We saw that the Six of Swords was upright, and that was the past experience that challenged him. So the past experience that challenged him is moving on. So we know that he has done that. He is now happily single, which means he is available for the energy that he's trying to attract. And he is needing to, in order to continue transcending obstacles, learning, doing this learning, expanding, entering into this new phase and preparing for union, he should be talking to his friends. He should be talking to people. He should be having fun. He should be having a good time, but he should be talking to his friends about the union. Preparing for union is telling people about it. And I'm intimidated by this because of my particular union is so weird. And I have to be like, hey, you want to know what I'm preparing for? And then when I tell people, it's a testament to how crazy they think I am. Some people are like, they believe me instantly. And other people are like, oh. So it doesn't matter if people believe you or not. You know what is happening and you need to talk about it with others. So this is something Divine Masculine must do. Spend some time with friends. Be single. Live in that moment. Have fun. And communicate about this expansion, him preparing for this union. And then we're getting the card he threw on the floor, the Five of Pentacles. And the Seven of Cups, which we started off the whole reading for as one of his hidden aspects that will assist him in realizing his worthiness. Look at this. What is he supposed to do today? He really needs to internalize the lesson from this card, which I used the sorting hat to teach. Love when I get to do my Harry Potter moments, okay? This is about your worthiness coming from the choices that you make. And this is the same thing. So today you really need to work on how your worthiness comes from the choices that you make. And if you choose not to be in a state of lack anymore, a lack of love, a lack of abundance, a lack of whatever, the moment you make that decision, you can transcend the obstacles that we just looked at helping you transcend. Ta-da! Wow. And then, what's at the bottom of the deck? Oh, it's no big deal. It's just your wish fulfillment, the Nine of Cups, and the Dragonfly. Be lighthearted, finding out, things coming to light, adapting, changing, and healing. Do what I say. And you know what? I'm going to say do what I say and what I do right now because I'm doing it right now. And you should be doing what I'm doing. You should know what your passions are. If you don't, hop in my DMs. We'll set up a reading and I will help you find your passions. You should be pursuing them. Even if you have a day job, you should find ways to pursue those passions. You should be doing subconscious reprogramming work on yourself to find your limiting beliefs that make you think you can't do the things you want to do. Excuse me? Who told you that? Let's find it out, dig it out, and get rid of it, okay? You should be wearing fabulous clothes and feeling fantastic no matter what your body looks like. You should be intuitively eating. That means if you're hungry, you eat it. If you have a craving, you eat it. If you want to move your body, you move it. If you want to do whatever the fuck you want to do regards to food or movement, you do it because it feels good, not because of any external rules about it. What else am I doing? You should be engaging in activities that are out of your comfort zone. And you should be engaging in some kind of intuitive tools to help you through this process. So learning how to read cards or listening to music and seeking out messages and journaling and free writing, doing things that help you get in tune with the heart space. All right. I hope you have the best day today. I'm going to go have a great day. I had a 12 o'clock. It is now canceled, which means I am free for the rest of the day. And apparently I need to call my girlfriends and talk to them about how I'm preparing for this union with my DM. And I am preparing for this union. When you see me, eventually, I'm going to be like, look, I'm in union and I'm going to have another ring. I promise. And even if I have to buy it myself, I will do it. All right. Take care today. Have the best day. And I shall see you on Sunday here around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Grace Strega for our collective reading where we check into the divine masculine and feminine. And then we answer personal questions at the end. So if you want us to pull cards for you, if you want us to answer questions about our personal lives, if you want us to answer questions about reading tarot, anything like that, you can ask us for the last 30 minutes of that session on Sunday. See you then and have a great day.